Relationships, it can be a challenge to bring up difficult questions about the future. Maybe you're ready to take the next step, but don't feel your partner is on the same page. We see those situations portrayed all the time, like on this episode of Sex and the City.
At our age, you have to be able to talk about having children if you think it might get serious.
That attitude, by the way, that awareness on the part of a woman that time is a ticking, it's very sexy to a man.
But you can't be scared to have those talks.
Why not? It's a perfectly scary conversation. I don't even want to have it with myself.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Here with some advice on addressing those difficult relationship questions is couples therapist Richard Jordan. Good morning.
Good morning,
You know,
Sandra.
It's difficult to bring those kind of questions up when you're dating somebody, when you're even in a serious relationship, because a lot of women are afraid they're going to scare a man away. What do you think of that?
Right, well, that's true. It depends on, it's an important thing to communicate, but a lot of it depends on just how you communicate that.
Mm-hmm. So you have some words of advice. The first tip that you talk about is telling the truth to yourself.
Right, and just a little bit I caught of that clip, it sounded as if she was alluding to that. It's like a scary conversation just to have with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular topic, I mean, it's not just the only one, but oftentimes a woman will accumulate a lot of complaints and a lot of things she's upset about, a lot of things that aren't working for her. I mean, this is a major one. But sometimes it starts to get a little less than clear inside, just specifically, clearly, what are my complaints, what are my needs, and how important are they? Is it, well, maybe I'd like it if, you know, wouldn't it be nice if?
So you have to know what you want. You have to know what you want to begin with.
Is this something I have to have? I can't live without this in my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You also talk about turning a complaint into a request. Maybe you're having a conversation about an issue like having children, and don't make it sound like a complaint.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, that's the way most of us have learned to express ourselves when we have an issue.
Right. We complain.
We complain.
So give us an example of how
for most of us, our first reaction when someone complains to us is we want to get away from that. It's like, you know. So by turning a complaint into a request, the answer might still be no, but you've drastically increased your odds of getting a yes. So examples, maybe not like the big issue here, but starting off with maybe a less big issue, like, you know, it just really aggravates me when every time I walk in the bedroom, your dirty laundry or your dirty underwear are on the floor, or I walk in the kitchen and your dirty dishes are in the sink.
See, I would say just pick up your underwear. That's
right.
what I would say. So what would you say instead?
Right. Well, yes, but there's the information and there's kind of the energy that the information rides on. So just pick up your underwear. That's the request. Could you please pick up your underwear? Could you please rinse your dishes and put them in the dishwasher? But it kind of leads to the next suggestion, which is there's a way of expressing that request.
Blame-free language.
Right, and of saying what it is that you need that also sets you up for success.
So that's important. No doing the blame game.
Right, exactly. So maybe coming back to the big issue about maybe I want to get married and I want to have kids and you don't, that the blaming way to say that is you just don't seem to understand me. You just don't get how important it is to me and what I need, and don't you want the same thing, and I'm just really upset with you because you don't, that kind of pointing the finger at your partner.
So what do you do instead? What do you say instead?
Well, you pull back the finger. Not that finger, but
right.
you begin talking about your own experience. You begin saying, this is how I feel. I'm angry, or I'm sad. Oftentimes a woman is sad or maybe even afraid when she contemplates that maybe I'm going to live this life without having a child or without finding a man that I can spend the rest of my life with. And to begin expressing that to her partner from her own experience that way. And once having done that, then you can make that request, riding on the energy of a little more kindness, to say, this is something I really do have to have. And my request of you is I'd like for you to think about that and spend some time wondering if that's something you really want to, and get back to me.
So when do you start talking about these very important personal issues when you're in a relationship, when you're dating somebody? Is there a time that's too early? I mean, you don't want to scare people away.
No, that's true. And say in a first date scenario, it's amazing how much people can tell about each other, mostly unconsciously, in the first few seconds. You know, body language, how they look, smell.
You can size somebody up pretty quickly.
Right, yeah. So if at that point you feel there's some chemistry, some potential, I see no reason to hold back, to say right away, here's what I have in mind. But again, not making it so much about you or you and me, which will scare them away. It's like, you know what, I think our kids would be beautiful and we can live in La Jolla and,
right.
You know, boom, there he goes, right?
There he goes.
It's more like, this is my vision. This is how I see relationship and what I would like to have. You know, I'd like to have children. I'd like to have a family. I'd like to have us have a rich spiritual life and live in an uncomfortable environment and such.
So it's never too early to get that communication going. Dr. Jordan, thank you so much for your tips this morning. For more information, KUSI.com is the place to go. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Enjoy your day.
Pleasure.
Thanks. All right.